Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Lake Journal. I'm Tom Halleck. It's taken a few weeks, but lawmakers in Albany have finally passed a new state budget that includes billions of dollars in funding for education and new housing initiatives. But at the same time, it's leaving many communities here in the North Country on pins and needles because New York is once again considering closing at least 5 more state prisons.
We're going to build, 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 and build. That's what we have to do. Thousands and thousands of new units of affordable housing.
Lawmakers passed a $237 billion state budget over the weekend that includes incentives to spur new housing construction, address the influx of migrants coming to shelters in New York City, and closing up to 5 more state prisons. The sweeping housing plan offers developers tax breaks if they agree to rent units in new buildings at below market price and tenant protections.
So today we celebrate an historic housing agreement, which is part of the fiscal year 2025 budget. An agreement that'll transform our state, put tenants and working families first, and allow New York to turn our vision of a better future into a reality.
The budget will spend $2.5 billion to care for the thousands of migrants who have overwhelmed New York City's homeless shelters, with the money going toward housing, health care, and legal services. State Senate Republican leader Rob Ortt criticized the spending, saying it would encourage more migrants to come to New York, and that the money could be used for the needs of legal New Yorkers. Also, the budget deal will expedite the closure of up to 5 more state prisons, given the state's declining prison population. The governor has until next March to decide which prisons to close. Since 2011, New York State has closed 24 correctional facilities, saving the state about $450 million a year, according to the State Corrections Department. State Senator Dan Stec says the Democrats' budget shortchanges working-class families and seniors. And he says while the hold harmless provision was restored, school aid funding is flat, which he says will make it harder for schools to operate. He also says closing more state prisons will put corrections officers in danger, and that the state has a horrible track record of finding new uses for closed prisons, which are economic drivers in their communities. North Country Assemblyman Billy Jones is also concerned about the possibility of more prisons closing.
What I didn't like in it, and I voted against, was the prison closures. The language reads 90-day notice up to 5 prisons closing. That's a big issue in my area, huge issue. It's probably the number one issue that I get asked about on a daily, weekly basis from my constituents. The governor does have the ability, the governor, whoever it is, does have the ability to close a correctional facility within a year. That's in statute. That's what this does, is it speeds up that process and gives a 90-day notice. When they decide it, they have to be closed down within 90 days. I just think, first of all, I don't want to see any of my correctional facilities closed, because it is important to people. They have jobs there. Our hardworking men and women, civilian and correction officers that work there every single day. It provides a good job and a career for those people. But I will say the governor had the ability to do that, to close them within a year. This expedites the process, which further gives anxiety to people as well, because there's just such a short window. If a correctional facility closes, that they would have to either look for another job, they would either have to transfer out, which is an opportunity for them, transfer to another facility. And you can see, if they get transferred to another facility that's a considerable distance away, then obviously that puts strain on their family.
The Assemblyman says lawmakers made the right decision to restore foundation aid that would have been cut from half the school districts across the state.
Education, which was a big topic throughout this. If you remember, the governor had a proposal out there to get rid of the hold harmless, and which would have cut 334 school districts foundation aid funding this year. able to get that back, that will help our North Country schools, also help our local taxpayers out as well.
Jones is unhappy, though, over funding in the budget for senior care, especially nursing homes.
We were pushing for an increase in the Medicaid reimbursement dollars that these nursing homes get so they can pay their staff, so they can recruit staff, so they can have staff, so we can actually open up more beds in these facilities. That's another talk about staffing issues. Our nursing homes are really struggling with it, hospitals alike. So, that is something we push for. We got an increase in there, but it's not quite at the level that they need.
And the Association on Aging in New York put out a statement saying the budget completely disregards the needs of older New Yorkers, not only coming up short on Medicaid funding, but also for community-based programs that help thousands of seniors remain in their homes at a fraction of the cost of nursing home care, and that tens of thousands of seniors are currently on wait lists for those home care services.